Hello guys, today we're going to be taking a look at my tier list, which I have been making for over the course of a couple of weeks. There are many tier lists, unfortunately they are rarely updated, and some of them are highly controversial, even the ones that I included in the official Invincible God in the Globe Discord server. And I've been watching a lot of discussions about characters in PvP, in GDOps, and other modes, and I collected all of those opinions, included my own personal experience, and want to share with you what I consider to be the most comprehensive tier list at this moment. I understand it can be controversial. I understand that everybody has their own opinion, and I have not played with all of the characters developed. And for some of the characters, like for Lizard League in particular, we don't yet know how they're going to perform long term. But we have to deal with the information we have at the moment. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So first, let's go over the tiers. As you can see, I've already placed all the heroes where I think they should be in each respective tier. In general, if a character takes start of a tier, they are the best in that tier, and in general, if they're located in the end of the tier, to the right or to the bottom, they are the worst character in that tier, but this should not be taken literally. For example, I can't place Rus and Mark 2 horizontally, and it doesn't necessarily mean that Robot is much worse than... it doesn't, for example, mean that Red Rush is much worse than Rus. Not at all. Still, we have to keep that in mind. So, what are the triple S tier characters? They are super strong, they have no counters, and they do wonders alone. S tier, super strong, they have some counters, and or do not do wonders solo. A, very strong, don't do wonders solo. B, strong, but they have niche use and or depend on team composition heavily. C, characters that don't cause enemies much trouble and do not excel at anything. And D, characters that seem to never bring any value. I think we're gonna start from the top and go to bottom. So, Universa. Universa is arguably the best character in the game, all due to her fourth skill that makes her critical hits chain to up to 4 targets. So, one critical hit is a hit on the entire enemy team, most often. She's a queen of event operations that last for 3 to 5 minutes because she can obliterate waves single-handedly with a proper team comp. She is not counted by anyone, she's not human, she's not Viltrumite. There are no direct counters to her. And she does huge damage. She's the best damage dealer in the game, arguably. At least when it comes to damaging several targets. Absolutely terrific. One of the best characters, if not the best character for PvE, for Ceasel's Nightmares for sure, and one of the best characters for PvP as well. However, in some cases she might be replaced by other characters. Anissa, another queen, probably second place in the entire hero roster, maybe probably the second spot, but in some cases she's better than Universa. So the value that she brings is that with her second skill, she debuffs enemies' defense stat, but enemy humans' defense stat based on her attack stat. And while it might not seem as that much, the math, the damage calculations in this game work in a mysterious way, but she seems to scale aggressively, meaning that when she is low level, she doesn't bring that much value, but the higher level she gets, the more you invest into her second skill, the greater the impact she has. And when I started using her, I think at Epic plus 5 stars, I saw her bring some value, but with each upgrade to Legendary, to Seismic, to Omni Plus, she was allowing the rest of the team to obliterate human enemies. On top of that, she is not human. Yes, she is Viltrumite, but Viltrumites are only soft counted by Dog Seismic, because Dog Seismic reduces their energy defense, and at max he can reduce their defense by 40 energy points percent, and that's roughly plus 20% damage taken. Other than that, she has no hard counters, only a couple of soft counters, but they don't really matter, because she will obliterate Dog Seismic herself. Shapesmith is a character that has been slept on for many months. He's not human, and therefore he cannot be obliterated by Anissa, and he doesn't belong to any other race that has a tag in the game. He's not human, he's not Viltrumite, none of that. His fourth skill can make him nearly unkillable as long as he has teammates. And recently he's been ravaging a PvP. He's almost impossible to deal with. Just diabolical. And he also brings a lot of value in PvE, because he increases his allies' defense. If we have a Not of this Earth hero on the team, he confuses enemies and he can make strong enemies kill each other. And he boosts healing of the teammates. He's terrific. He's a great character. By the way, I rushed forward instead of finishing my thoughts on Anissa. Unfortunately, Anissa is so strong that any other character in the game that has a human tag becomes a burden for a player. And people are tend to move away from heroes that have a human tag. She's that powerful and that impactful. That's good and terrible at the same time, because at least half of the game is human characters. Either way, Dog Seismic, first S tier hero. He should probably be at the top of S tier, but he's not as strong as these, because he's human, because he can be obliterated by Anissa. Even if they are at the same level, if both of them are level 1000, he can be killed in, if not in one hit, maybe in 3 to 4 hits. But Dog Seismic has probably the highest single target damage, definitely highest single target damage across ranged attackers, ranged characters in general. He has very high mobility, probably highest mobility of any character in the game. Before Donald, no ranged hero was moving like Dog Seismic. He can fly across the entire map. He can massively reduce defense of Viltrumite enemies. So base second skill makes him reduce Viltrumite defense effectively by 10%, and if maxed out by 20%, which is a big deal. He also stuns and grounds flying enemies. He flies away and pushes enemies, and when he pushes enemies, Anissa will blast through them and often obliterate them. He is great in PvE, he deals massive damage. Fantastic, absolutely the best criminal faction hero in the game. Conquest. There was a lot of hate on Conquest this summer, because people were saying that he's overrated, he's not a good tank, he's worse than Alan because he doesn't defend team, he doesn't heal himself, etc, etc. But now we can see that Conquest is arguably the best, the strongest defender in the game. Because Alan, in my opinion, is right now just an immortal punching bag. He can hit hard with his first skill sometimes, but most often he's just a punching bag. Very, very, very tough one. The toughest one, but a punching bag nevertheless. Conquest. Conquest has highest stats in the entire game, massive damage, massive survivability. He can destroy, he's the only tool to destroy invulnerable targets like Mark 1, Red Rush, given invincibility to his allies, Mark 2, given invincibility to his allies, Bulletproof, and some others. He can just pierce those bubbles and kill them. Fantastic. And that makes him valuable in PvE, because in some operations like food operations and what's that called? This is heavy. Guardians around the globe, they have immortals, they have invincibles. He will just obliterate them. He's terrific. When an enemy debuffs him, he will pass this debuff onto him and he will push them, and that push will lead to Anissa blasting through that target. And if that's a human enemy debuff in Conquest, that's a death sentence. His retribution talent is so strong that, for example, if you run him into worthy opponent against a powerful Battlebeast, first attack of a Battlebeast will not land on him. He will not get bleeding stacks and will not receive damage. He will just headbutt Battlebeast and pass bleeding onto him. He's a terrific defender. Mark 2. Mark 2 was a long time, you can say, black sheep, but for some reason it took months for people to understand how valuable his second skill is, where he can give all of his melee allies plus 84% attack and plus 70% life leech. This is invaluable in both PvE and especially in both PvP and PvE, and especially in PvE, because his attack buff, when it goes to Anissa debuffs enemies even stronger, even harder, and those two together can solo Downtown Destruction, many other ops. He's just fantastic. And in PvP, he can save allies just like Red Rush before they die. He can finish off targets at 25% HP. This is absolutely bonkers. So if you drop Conquest to 25%, Mark 2 with fourth skill maxed out will just kill him immediately. Insane value. Super strong character. And his only weakness was that he doesn't have bubble like Invincible 1 and Immortal when his HP drops too low, but now we have Kenzlock, and he can both be a Red Rush, saving any ally, and he can be an Invincible himself. But unlike Invincible 1, he works like Immortal. Invincible 1 can still be one-shot by Anissa enemies, Anissa teams. This one with Kenzlock cannot. Terrific, absolutely terrific hero. Rus Livingston. Rus, I thought he's a trash hero, but when I upgraded his second skill to max level, plus 35% attack to invader allies, he's absolutely fantastic. Terrific. So he empowers the strongest characters in the game like Universa, Anissa, and Conquest. He makes them deal 35% more damage. If that wasn't enough, he makes Anissa's second skill 35% stronger, and therefore the defense debuff on human enemies is 35% stronger. It's invaluable. And he's arguably the best character for Alliance mode, because you deal with a lot of weak enemies that die to several hits, and each time an enemy dies, he heals his entire team by up to 10% HP or 8%. It's invaluable. If you have one Rus on the team, the whole team becomes immortal, just like Wolverine. If that wasn't enough, he can confuse enemies, so they start attacking each other. He can stun enemies, but of course his most important value is that he empowers strongest characters like Universa, Anissa and Conquest. I would put them both in ST as well, but they are humans, unfortunately, just like Dog Seismic, and therefore they can be very hard countered by Anissa. General Kregg. Kregg is a new character, and he's fantastic because he empowers the strongest characters in the game like Anissa, Conquest, Mark 1, Omniman, Mark 2, Thula. He just allows them to deal more damage, he gives them massive shields, he summons a 6th character for your team, soft countering Universa, because Universa's deck might not land on a main member of the team, but it's instead hits a minion, which we don't care for too much. He's Thula and Lucan on steroids, and he can summon a bonus Anissa. Absolutely terrific. Yeah, that's it so far. So he's super strong, super nice for PvE because he shields the entire team, summons another character, and he synergizes super strong with Multipaul, who can have several copies. All of those copies will get shields, and if a weak copy dies, strongest attacker will get a massive cooldown reduction on his main ability. And he makes already strong characters stronger. Absolutely terrific character. Alan, I don't have much to say about him. Alan is the most beefy character in the game, beefier than Conquest because he has massive self-healing, he can taunt enemies, and he can give massive damage and defense bonus to entire team, where team will effectively have 20% more defense and 20% more damage. However, he needs enemy team to have, I think, not of this Earth enemies like Universa and maybe Rus, Damien Darkblood. And if you don't have such heroes, he doesn't give that buff. That's a weakness. He's still great character, and he can benefit you greatly if you put him in This Is Heavy and well done operation, because they have Allens and you can put Neuralink on him and he will buff your entire team and give them that second skill value. Mark 1, previously one of the best characters in the game. Right now, unfortunately, not as much, because we got much stronger options in the attacker department, but still, he is fantastic. He can be hard countered by Anissa. She can overpower his third ability that gives him invulnerability, but he can do what no other characters can do. He can solo everyone who's anyone operation. He can do it with Cecil, he can solo food operations, etc, etc. He is still a very, very strong character. However, at this point, I would not recommend new players to build him. I'd rather recommend them do Mark 2. Red Rush. Red Rush is highly praised due to his third skill, which can allow him to pull in an enemy at the start of the battle, and he's the only character that can counter Dog Seismic. If Agent Spider tries to pull Dog Seismic will just stun him and push him and fly away. And Dog Seismic will not do that against Red Rush. So he's a Blitz team character. He can boost entire team's critical damage by 45%, which is invaluable in well-done operation, for example. I personally do not like him. I'm not using him because he requires too much molecular enhancement investment but people love him and he's really strong. And he can save people from death, giving them invulnerability shield. He's a very strong support. Much better than Adam Eve. Thula, but he's hard countered by Anissa, as usual. Thula, very strong character. She can do a 3-second stun at the start of the battle on the weakest enemy. That's invaluable. If she's paired with Anissa, that's a death sentence to human enemies. And since she's Viltrumite, she's not human, she is not hard countered by anything. And that's it. No other special things about her. Well, since some of the strongest characters, most of the strongest characters are Viltrumites, like Anissa, Conquest, Mark, Nolan, Kregg. When any of them dies, she gets a massive damage boost. But since Conquest came out, I say that Thula is a discounted Kregg, because Kregg can summon Thula. And would you rather have 2 Viltrumites or 1 if they have the same kit? I would not. But still she's very strong, and she will arguably synergize super well with Kregg, because Kregg will summon Viltrumites who are weaker, who will most likely die first and activate Thula's second skill. And he will activate her if she has the highest attack as well. But she likely won't have the highest attack. Highest attack will probably go to Conquest if you're speaking of Viltrumite team. Robot is, if we're not considering Shapesmith, Robot is the second best healer in the entire game. If we can say that Robot is Shapesmith for free-to-play players. He attacks super fast, he can be useful in some PvE modes. He is a technologist, so he benefits from teaming up with Seismic and Powerplex. Massive healing, quick healing. Just if you can survive for 15 seconds, then your entire team will heal a very respectable amount. He can be positioned in the front spots like a tank, and he's not human. No one counters him. He's not Viltrumite, he's not human, he doesn't have any race tag. So, wow, what a great character. Very strong heroes don't do wonders solo. A tier. Nolan is a stat ball. Before Conquest joined us, he was hero with highest level of power. He has some of the best stats in the game. He's not human, unlike Mark's, so he doesn't have hard counters, and he's Earth Defender, and because of that, he has plus 20% damage against all of those awesome Worlds Beyond characters. That makes him super valuable. And now with new skill levels, his second skill allows him to get from 10 to 50% crit chance against Viltrumites. He's going to be a beast in a couple of months when people start getting that skill. That made me want to build him, and that's what I'm doing right now. Well, he's also a well done beast. He doesn't do wonders solo. Yes, he doesn't. He doesn't have self-sustain skills like Mark 1. So he's not that hard to kill. But very strong. Agent Spider. Agent Spider is one of my favorite characters. He's Red Rush, but better to me, because for Red Rush to pull enemy at the start of the battle, you have to invest 1000 molecular enhancements into his skill, and he has to be level, very high level, like 640 or 660, something around that. But Agent Spider, the moment you get him to Elite Plus, he starts pulling enemies in, and if he pulls an enemy in, Anissa will blast through them. and if that enemy is human, Anissa will likely just obliterate them. He also, while I like him more than Red Rush increases critical damage, he increases critical chance massively, and some critical damage. I'd always prefer critical chance over critical damage. And he has built-in pushing of enemies within his fourth skill, I think, or maybe third, and that enables Anissa, so they are a fantastic pair together. But he's human, and unfortunately he can be obliterated by Anissa easily. And he's very nice for Cecil's Nightmares, event operations, GDA ops, because he boosts critical chance massively and enables Universa to deal massive damage. Donald is arguably the best attacker in GDA faction now. He's not human, unlike most of the other heroes from GDA faction, so he's not hard counted by Anissa and not hard counted by anyone, just like Robot. He's not Viltrumite, no one counters him. He has some ability, like Dog, but less, and he increases team defense, he can stack his critical chance. He's terrific. He's like a mobile turret. Cecil. Unfortunately, Cecil is human, so he can be obliterated by Anissa, as usual. However, he can increase his entire team's critical chance by up to 70 or 75% or 80, absolutely insane amounts, and he can be a main healer now. But unfortunately, if you upgrade his third skill, and he's a summon, he's the initial summon character, but unfortunately, if you put him in lone operations that are over 4 hours long, he can bug them out and you'll get no proper rewards. So you can't really use him in GDA ops if you upgrade his third skill, his best skill, his most important and valuable skill. Absolutely absurd. I keep his third skill at level 1 and I don't invest in him anymore. I run him in everyone has anyone with Mark 1 and they farm artifact XP and pieces for me. If he was not bugged, he would definitely be an S tier hero. He can heal massively, enable team with increasing their crit chance, but the fact that he's been bugged for like 6 to 9 months is his curse. Powerplex. Unfortunately, the recent patch broke Maulers, or fixed Maulers, and we have to place him lower. Powerplex is a very good character by himself, but he's a fantastic character if you pair him with the likes of Doc Seismic and Robot, because they are technologists and he increases their damage and reduces their cooldown time. Very, very nice character, and the fact that he is criminal faction man means he deals increased damage to characters like from Earth's Defender faction like Nolan and Mark, but he's human. Anissa will one-tap him, sadly. Seance Dog. Seance Dog has a fantastic kit. If we were able to level him just like the rest of the characters, he'd definitely be S tier. He's not human, he's not Viltrumite, but you can't get him to levels high enough because his copies are super hard to get, and for you to get those copies, the rest of the characters have to be super high. So for example, I have like 4 heroes that are level 1000 and I only have Dog at Epic plus 2 stars. I'm not using him in PvP. Still people are able to use him in PvP, paired with Adam Eve. Some people use him in GD Ops. He's still a very strong character. Yeah, moving on to B. These are strong characters but have niche use and or depend on the comp. Immortal. Immortal since Conquest showed up and he can hard counter Immortal, since Anissa showed up and she can hard counter him. Unfortunately, he's mediocre hero now, or even weak. But his niche use is staff mortal tech. When you put Flaxan staff on him, and he can one-shot Anissa for dealing 1 billion damage to him. That's his niche use. Same goes for Multipaul. I placed Multipaul lower because Multipaul does not benefit his team, and this one does. He can reduce Viltrumite damage received by the entire team. Not that it helps. Rex Splode. Rex is a very good attacker, but his greatest value is from his second skill, where he can increase critical chance of the entire team by 25%. Makes him fantastic for Cecil's Nightmares, well done GDA op, and some event ops. Unfortunately, he's human, so one tapped by Anissa. Battlebeast. I hate to hate this guy. I wish I could love him, but unfortunately he's too weak. He's still a strong character, but nothing like what he should be. He should be an S tier character. Unfortunately, he's not. He's very slow. He reduces his own defense, allowing 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 enemies to obliterate him in several seconds. He's super slow when he attacks, super slow when he walks. He's grounded, so he can be hard countered by Seismic. It's just terrible. And he's worlds beyond, therefore he's countered by Nolan, Spider, Mark, etc, etc. It's very hard to be Battlebeast in the current meta, unfortunately. He's one of the best 1v1 heroes, but again, not into Seismic. Seismic will obliterate him. He'll be flying away, stunning him. No chance, unfortunately. In a proper 1v1, like against Nolan, he can maybe win. Sometimes he will win. It's hard to tell. I once saw, I think, 30-star Conquest beat a 60-star Battlebeast. It was pathetic. Damien Darkblood. He's not human, he's not Viltrumite. He can't be hard countered. I've seen him do wonders in PvP. Surprisingly strong character. Multipaul. As I said, he's a niche use, but he can be very good in GD ops. He has very strong synergy with General Kregg. He has strong synergy with King Lizard, because King Lizard increases defense of each team member, and that includes his copies. He's a decent use, but he's human, and he can be one-tapped by Anissa, but he can punish her in return. Lucan. People hate Lucan. They call him the trash can. Lucan can be useful. Lucan is Viltrumite, therefore he can't be hard countered by Anissa, unlike the rest of the tanks. But Lucan doesn't deal much damage, he doesn't taunt much. He's like super discount Conquest. Much worse. Still, he can push enemies, he can taunt them. When he pushes them, he triggers Anissa to blast through them. I can see him being useful, but in the world where Kregg exists, who can summon half of Lucan, why would you invest into Lucan? Hard pass, unfortunately. But if you have him, don't resent him. He can stay. Maulers. Before the recent patch, when Maulers were broken, ranged Maulers were broken, I would put them into A tier or even S tier for the sheer value that they provided in GD ops and event operations. Unfortunately, they are fixed now, and they are just back to their above average position. They are not filtrumized, they are not human, they can't be hard countered by anything. They deal increased damage to the likes of Mark 1 and Nolan, because those are Earth defenders. But it's a niche character. Adam Eve. Adam Eve is often shoved into S tier, into A tier, but she can't be in those spots. She's human, she's obliterated by Anissa, she's a sitting duck, she will be pulled in by Red Rush, by Agent Spider to be obliterated. Unlike Robot, who starts healing in, I think, 15 seconds, she needs her first ability to activate to start healing, and that's 20 to 25 seconds into battle. Often in the modern meta, battles are decided in before she even gets to activate anything, and therefore she just shoots her pink particles at enemies and doesn't bring much value and then dies. If she survives, if she can live, she's a good character. She doesn't bring value in PvE. There is Seance Dog, Eve Dog tech, when they can be paired and they make the entire team immortal. So she's still a strong character, but not very strong, not super strong. So I highly, if I was asked, do not invest into Atom. Also, she is not strong out of the box. Robot is strong as is. She needs a lot of molecular enhancements to become strong. Bulletproof, unfortunately, he's human. On top of that, his GDA faction, there are 4 worlds beyond. Characters deal more damage to him. He's hard counted by Anissa, hard counted by Conquest, but he can become almost 24/7 invulnerable in certain situations, in certain comps, and he can bring massive value. He is a strong character. Still, he's human, GDA. I'd recommend you pass on him, but if you have him built, do not reset him, he can bring value. King Lizard. Well, it's very hard for me to give proper opinion on lizards because we haven't seen much of them, but King Lizard has this amazing second skill that is anti-Anissa skill, where he increases his team's defense by percentage, the same percentage as Anissa, percentage of his attack stat. Therefore, he's very or super good in the guarding the globe, guardians around the globe operation, because he'll massively increase survivability of the entire team, especially for the likes of Multipaul and the likes of Titan, who gets more armor the lower HP he gets, and Powerplex. Other than that, he's human, he's one-tapped by Anissa, sadly. Komodo, newest character, he seems to be Alan, therefore he's unkillable, but he's human, so he's one-tapped by Anissa still. There is a tag where he can kill Anissa in return. He doesn't boost his team, but he can taunt enemies a lot and often. So we are yet to see if he is strong and viable. Titan is unfortunately human, so he's hard counted by Anissa. If Anissa didn't exist, I think he'd be a strong character in A tier. I saw him bring value in Alliance Warfare, in some PvE, like in GD Ops, but not much to say about him. Iguana feels to me as the least valuable lizard. She's human, can be obliterated, and without any other lizard she doesn't have a second skill, and her second skill is weak in its base form. I don't like her too much. I've never seen her in Multiverse Arena. Never seen her bring much value. Aquarus. Aquarus is a strong character for GD Ops because he can remove, and in some PvP situations, he can remove immortality from marks, red rushes, bulletproofs, which is invaluable in certain GD Ops and GD events. Also, he's not human, he's not Viltrumite, he can't be one-tapped, but still he's just a rare character. But he can be valuable, and he can be... You can use several weak copies of him with Universa to give her body enhancement, so that's his niche use. He can be... and therefore he can be invaluable in GD events. Darkwing 1 is human, killed by Anissa, but I've seen him in some GD Ops where people built teams around him and he dealt massive damage with critical hits. Kursk is human, unfortunately, but he's probably the fastest attacker in the game. And before we got the ranged Mauler attack, he was the fastest attacker, and we used him to farm certain GDA events. And I fought him a couple of times in Alliance Warfare where he had like 7 to 10 stars and he was super strong and he dealt massive damage. So I respect this guy. Flaxan Leader is not human, he's not Viltrumite. He, by sheer existence, if he's Elite Plus, he can increase your spoils in GD Ops, which makes him valuable. I put him in training gain and downtown destruction to increase my gain by 5 to 10%. He's valuable, he has a spot, and in the most recent update, if you upgrade his certain skill to level 11, he can become invulnerable for several seconds at the start of every wave. So I suspect he might get some much needed love. C tier. Don't cause enemies much trouble, don't excel at anything. Angstrom, he's human, he's weak. He needs Maulers, and Maulers are not very strong characters. Plus, he's not even good at boosting Maulers. Level 1 Powerplex will boost Maulers better than level 1000 Angstrom Levy. I'm exaggerating, of course, but he's not good. He's food. Melee Mauler, he's alright, but not too strong. I don't even know what to say. He's not human, but... Monstergirl... The moment Anissa appeared, Monstergirl was sentenced to death. She obliterates her. I got nothing else to say. She was good in GD Ops, and as far as I know, she was good in PvP before Anissa appeared, but it's been like 9 months since Anissa joined the game, or even longer. Baby Girl, you're in C tier. Shrinking Ray, same, but Shrinking Ray doesn't... I mean, she can boost her team, but that's not enough to counter what Anissa does. And I've never seen anyone praise her in PvE. Never. Green Ghost. I don't know. She's human and I just one-tap her before she does anything. I've never seen her bring any value in neither PvP or PvE. Darkwing 2. He's human and he doesn't have any respectable skills. He can disappear off the map with an enemy. I don't know. He's lame. He's food. Warwoman, same. Human, food, no cool skills. Nothing to say. Martian Man. I've not seen him do anything useful. I've not seen him used in GD Ops to any success. Oliver is Viltrumite. He can boost team healing but by a very small amount. He's a rare character with low stats. I don't like him. Duplikate, human, GDA, if that wasn't enough. Easily killed, doesn't boost the team in any capacity, so she's bad. Reaniman. Reaniman are the only characters I put into C tier instead of D. The only common characters I put into C tier. Simply because they, by them dying, they can boost Donald. And by them dying, they summon Reaniman from Cecil. And there are certain tags where people run Cecil and 2 to 3 to 4 Reaniman in Reaniman Rampage. And they are just used as spam bots for Cecil's summoned Reaniman to do AoE by dropping on the ground. So there are some uses to them. Still, they are very weak. D. Never seen him do anything useful. He's human. Never seen him do anything useful. He's human. Arguably, he can counter Battlebeast because he can reduce damage received from merit to the mob by 50%, and he has healing self-regen in skill 3 that counters Battlebeast's bleeding attacks, but Battlebeast still overpowers him by sheer stats and by the fact that he's worlds beyond and he's GDA. Now that we have, no one would ever want Black Samson instead of Immortal or even Monstergirl. Unfortunately, he's too weak. Isotope. I've not seen him bring any value. I think I've not seen him once in PvP open arena. Tether Tyrant. Probably the worst tank in the game. Not very tough to kill. Doesn't deal any damage. No interesting abilities. And of course those common characters. They don't synergize with anybody. Well, Magmaniac can, and who's that? Magma Knight can synergize with Doc Seismic, but how'd that go? For 10% increase in team health, why would you want to not have 5th character? It's not worth it. So if you have him instead of 5th character, Doc Seismic can increase his team's HP by 10%. That's not worth it. I'd rather have a proper 5th character instead of that. Alright, that's it. Guys, please share your opinions. Tell me where I'm wrong, who I underestimated, who I overestimated. But so far, I think we're done. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Peace.